Okay, this is going to be another matchup against Dragon Turbo. So Dragon Turbo recently won RBT IRL Moreno Valley. So I just want to showcase to you how the deck plays. I'm going to play as if I don't know he's playing. I go first against the match, and I set a Nova Summoner. No, I set a Mystic Tomato here. The reason why I set a Mystic Tomato here is because I want to get the Sangan so that I can get my Herald of Orange Light online. So turn 1, he activates the Upstart Goblin. I go to 9,000. He sets the Reckless Greed, and he passes here. So he pretty much bricked on his opening hand. And then here I flip the tomato here, and then I attack for 1400 here. And then he drops the Tragodia, I believe. Yeah. So this way, if he draws into a level 4, he can steal my tomato. I still don't know what deck he's on because this is a pretty standard play for most decks to drop Tragodia with a big hand. So it doesn't. I don't know what he's playing still. But regardless, I sacrifice for Caius here because I don't want him to Caius me back by dropping the Trag because he can sacrifice his Trag for Caius and then banish my tomato. So what I do is I sacrifice the tomato here to banish the Tragodia. And if he summons any monster that can beat over my Caius, I do have the Shining Angel Christia line, so I like that play. He draws into an Avarice here. He activates Reckless Greed, hoping to draw into an out, hopefully a Card of Consonance or a level 8 monster. Draws into another Reckless Greed, and he does draw into a level 8 monster. Activates Trade in here, draws 2, gets Debris and Super Rejuve. So he could activate Rejuve here and then activate Magical Stone to discard the rest of this, to discard both his White Stone of Legend and his Debris Dragon, so that his Super Rejuve can draw 6 cards. Let's see if he does that. So he activates Magical Stone, discards the White Stone of Legend, searches for gets the trade in. So he did misplay here. He should have activated the Super Rejuve and then yeah, activate Super Rejuve, activate Magical Stone Excavation, add the Super Rejuve back, and then from there he can draw 6 cards as opposed to doing now where he's only drawing 8. So he searches for the Blue Eyes White Dragon, activates trade in here, and he draws 2 more. So how many dragons did he discarded? He discarded 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of drawing 6, he's drawing 4. Activates Upstart Goblin. So here he has another Magical Stone of Excavation. So what he could do is activate Rejuve if he knows the play. Activates Magical Stone, discard Debris and Avarice. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that play because he wants the Avarice, I believe. So he sets the Debris. I don't agree that he should have set the Debris here. Maybe he's trying to preserve life points. He doesn't know what he's playing up against, so maybe he was afraid that I might Dark Arm, but if I had Dark Arm, I would have popped the monster. So yeah, I definitely shouldn't have. Definitely should not set Debris here. So he sets 3 back row and he activates Super Regio. The second he activated that card, I know that he's on Dragon Turbo, so I know that these cards are duds. It's not going to do anything to my monsters. So he draws 4 here. He draws into Gores. He draws an extra card, which is bad. If it's a tournament, he would have got a game lost. So I summon DD Warlady here, and I attack. So I attacked this face down and thinking it's a White Stone Legend, but it wasn't. But even if it isn't White Stone Legend, DD Warlady can just banish it, and I can just attack him directly for 24 here. Has the Gores in hand, so even if he flips both his Reckless Greed here to draw 4, his Gores can't come down. And I pretty much bank on that because he already used 3 Reckless. But it could have been I guess it could have been a Super Rejuvenation, but there's no reason to do that. It looked like he drew into a card destruction, so if he resolves card destruction, then I at least have the Titanial out of my hand, and I have the option of drawing into a Pot of Avarice, which is really good. Activates triple, yeah, he basically resolves 4 Reckless Greed in this game. He does have the set trade-in. No, he has the set Magical Stone, so hopefully he doesn't OTK me here. I don't have a way to stop anything, so yeah. Looks like he does have OTK, does he? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have Debris Dragon. Yeah, he needs his triple red MD to kill me. Or 2 actually. He just needs 2. He also needs Quackymar Drago too. So the deck needs to draw into Future Fusion or a way to get Drago in the graveyard. Okay, so he searches for the Blue Eyes White Dragon here. I believe at this point in time he does have 5 monsters, right? So his Avarice is live. Yeah. So I think he Avarices here. Draws into a Wyvern, but no Future Fusion, so really bad for him. So it is only his second turn, so he's able to do all this. I think he tries to go into the OTK mode, so he goes into Debris into the White Stone of Legend, and then he brandishes specials here. Activates instant fusion. I think from this point on, he instead of making the traditional play, he goes into Tempest Magician. So he revives the blue eyes, and this does a lot of damage. The Tempest Magician could do, yeah, this is OTK. So I think he banks on me not having the gores, um, which I don't. I don't have the gores, but had I had the gores or the Herald here, I would have been able to interact with this play. So he offers us here to draw us more cards. This makes it so that Tempest Magician becomes an OTK because it's a once per turn effect, so he can just do it on main phase 2. Okay, so he draws 2 more here, and then he attacks over my Caius. I take 400. If he was playing around the Gores still, he should have attacked with Blue Eyes into the Caius. So this way I take 600, but I don't have it anyways. So I go in enough low left points, and yeah, for those of you guys who love Dragon Turbo, this is how you OTK with it. If you suspect that your opponent doesn't have a way to stop this, so you can discard your whole hand, do like 4,000 damage right there. So he starts off with 1 counter. He discarded how much did he discard here? He discarded 3, 6, 8 cards. So that's 4,000 damage, 4,500 life points. So he could have kept 1 card in his hand. He probably should have kept Gores in his hand or something. Yeah, and that would have been OTK. So yeah, that's game 1 for you. That's against Dragon Turbo. So let's see if I can come back from the reverse sweep. I do side it against this matchup. I do side the DD Crows in because it is searchable. And it looks like I draw Titanium for the second time in a row. So I side into pulling the rug and dust shoot. So I set the dust shoot and the pulling the rug, and I summon Cactus Bouncer. The reason why I summon Cactus Bouncer is because I can lock out a special summoning once I am able to summon or draw into Tomato or Lone Fire. So yeah, I dust shoot him, and I choose the Quacky Marl Drago because he doesn't have trade in his hand, so I'd rather him lose his Quacky Marl Drago. Okay, he draws into card destruction. He activates Super Rejuve here. Activates card destruction to discard 3, I believe. No, he discards 2. So he makes me lose my D Crow, but he unbricks my Titanial, which is really good. Hopefully I draw into something. Hopefully I draw into a plant monster I can just have next to Cactus Bouncer. He draws into 2 here. His Super Rejuve is active, so he's able to draw 2 in the end phase. Activates Upstart here to draw an extra card, and then he draws into a red med. Then end phase, he draws 2 for the Super Rejuve, and he passes. At this point, he can drop the Tragodia. So I summon the Nova Summoner here to attack him directly. So this was actually another misplay I made. In the event that he has Gores, I should have attacked with the Nova Summoner first, because this could be an MST or a Reckless Greed, and he can just drop Gores after that. But even though I do the attack order wrong, he does not have Gores and he does not have Reckless. So I set 2 here and I pass. Uh, he doesn't flip this in the end phase, or he doesn't activate on his main phase, which tells me that it isn't Reckless Greed, so it's probably a spell card. So I draw into Lone Fire here. I don't know why I didn't summon Lone Fire here. I should have summoned it. Oh, maybe because I have lethal. So this is 28, and uh, it's lethal if I activate Ultimate Offering. So if I summon Lone Fire here, I can win. So for some reason I don't. Yeah, I should have activated the Ultimate Offering, summoned the Lone Fire, and then win the game. Yeah, that was a misplay on my part. Had I done that, I would have won the game. So he's only at 200 life points. Okay, so he goes down to 200 life points. He doesn't drop Trag for some reason. I don't know why he doesn't. He definitely should have. Summoned the Lone Fire here to stop him from special summoning. Unfortunately, since I now control 2 plant monsters, I can't sacrifice the Lone Fire for a Dandelion because Cactus Bouncer prevents me from special summoning. But he scoops anyways, so I identified some misplays on my game where I should have summoned Lone Fire and end the game faster. So game 3 starts. So just mind you, I did win even with Titanial drawn. So just to show you guys that this deck can still play even if you draw Titanial. So he sets Decree here. Not sure why he sets Decree here because that stops his Reckless Greed. So definitely disagree with that play. Drawn to a Lone Fire, most likely going to start to a Titanial. I think I only go into 1 Lone Fire because I sided out the Pot of Avarice. So whenever you side out Pot of Avarice, definitely do the play where you only have 1 Lone Fire and leave 1 in the deck so that you can go into 2. So you can basically go into Dandelion the next turn if you draw into another Lone Fire. So he draws it into it. He drops it to the Trag here, so the Trag is able to run over the Titanial, which is good for him. He draws into yet another spell card, which he can't use. So definitely he should go into battle phase, attack over the Titanial, and if he really wants, he could card destruction right here, right now, but he's not going to be able to resolve his super rejuvenation for good value. So Tragodia is at 3,000, so I have to deal with that. I have the option here of crashing my Shining Angel so that I have a Christia play, and that would waste a lot of life points. So I choose not to do that. I think I just set the tomato here. Yeah. So this way, if he attacks over it, I can just sacrifice for Caius, and he's still not drawing. He's drawing pretty bad still. Um, so he sets the two spells that he can use for later, and I lose my DD Crow, which is really bad for me because he tries to OTK at me. But I assume he's drawing badly. He Vortex Trooper here draws two, and he ends up with Debris and Upstart Goblin. So activates Upstart Goblins here, draws one, and activates card Constantness, discard his Debris. It really feels really bad if you have to discard Debris, but you can make up for it if you draw into your Super Rejuve to draw more cards. Activates Trade in here, draws two more. Hopefully he wants to draw into a yeah, he definitely wants to draw into a Super Rejuve here because he did discard two dragons here. So here he can instant fusion for a Kamari dragon. I think it's called Dark Flare Dragon. He can make a Dark Flare Dragon banish for red MD, and then special summon the dragon from his blue eyes from his graveyard. So I bottom this here, and he activates the decree. So at this point, I'm like, why did he sided that in? So he probably wanted to go into the whole like Dragon Turbo beatdown strategy, as opposed to the OTK strategy, which makes sense. If you know you're playing against fairies, um, you definitely don't you side into the beatdown version. So I could see why he did that. But unfortunately, for him, I'm playing a different deck. I go into tomato. If he attacks over the tomato, I can go into a plague splitter zombie. He crashes his vortex trooper to take 1,400 damage for no reason. So he gets the debris dragon here, and then he doesn't attack, which is shocking to me. So I draw into my decree. I'm like, okay, well, he doesn't play Reckless Greed anymore. I think he took it out. So I find a way to deal with yeah, since I do have a Dark and Light in my graveyard, thanks to the card destruction, my Chaos Sorcerer can banish his Red Med. I check his graveyard for Wyvern. So what I do is I banish the Blue Eyes, I believe. Oh no, it looks like I steal the Blue Eyes. So yeah, it looks like I do have the lethal on board because I can steal his Blue Eyes and normal summon the Nova Summoner. So that was one way I had game. Okay, and since I already know he has Tragodia out already, I pretty much have lethal. So I won the game here against Dragon Turbo. Yeah, this is the first time I've played against Dragon Turbo, and I can already tell you that the deck isn't as consistent as I thought it was. At first impression, when I was playing against it against somebody, they basically popped off. Like they were able to do the debris play and go into triple red med and kill you. But it turns out the deck is not as consistent as I thought it was. Maybe the player just side decked incorrectly by setting the decree. I don't know. Maybe in the future the deck will be more consistent. Who knows? Yeah, but pretty much this is the gameplay video for all of my matchups against with Chaos Fairy Plants. A really good deck because it does a lot. It does a lot of plays, and I definitely think this deck is really good in my opinion. It's also one of my favorite decks archetype because it does play Christia and Chaos cards. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.